The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
From TFNN, we pick things up at 9:06 p.m. Eastern Time, p.m. a.m. We'll get there. And we got markets ripping higher yesterday on the close. Microsoft and Meta. Amazing numbers to the upside. Meta shares, I was talking about in the Tigers Den today. Meta shares overnight. Right now, let's just pull them up. We'll kick it off because it is quite a run right now. So Meta shares are $77 higher, folks. $77 higher. At one point, we were $89 higher. $89 higher in the pre-market at one point, and $89, folks, is more than this entire equity was trading at just over 2 years ago, right? Entire company was valued at $88, and meanwhile, your overnight pop on Meta shares is going to be to the tune of about 10 to 11% on this equity. We'll get into the numbers further in the program, but you might as well jump over to Microsoft shares. Microsoft, they're going to be opening at an all-time high. You're going to be pushing $4 trillion. They'll be the second company to achieve that $4 billion mark from Microsoft. After the bell today, you're going to get Amazon. Amazon catching quite a lift. Azure on Microsoft. We'll get into it again. Staggering numbers. $75 billion Azure is doing on the cloud. First time Microsoft breaks out those numbers, cloud computing through the roof. Amazon shares going to be up by $7 in the pre-market. Amazon out with their numbers tonight, so they'll have to live up to some increased expectations after the bell. And Apple shares, not quite the same cloud player, right? Only up about 60 pennies right now at 209.65, and Apple just continues to underperform this market. You look at everything catching a bid right now, but no. Not Apple, but guess what is? NVIDIA is up almost another $4, folks. And remember, there's about 25 billion shares outstanding. So NVIDIA is going to pop about another 100 billion in market cap. You're up to almost 185.43. So that is the context of the equities. We have some inflation data this morning. But yeah, so much for the Fed sell-off. You get it all back and then some with the acceleration after hours. Now, the market clawed back some of those losses in the last few minutes of the trading day yesterday, and then you really ratcheted higher on the numbers from Microsoft and Meta. You continue higher in the overnight session. We take a look at the price and volume. And yeah, we had some nice volume on the bounce yesterday, actually. Okay, you take a look at this candle. You're talking about doing 1.235 million shares. Now, today's the final trading day of the month. So we may get a little bit more volume today. We're going to be digesting PCE numbers. We're going to be digesting Microsoft and Meta. And the market's going to be getting ready for Apple and Amazon. But yeah, decent volume on that little bit of a pop yesterday on the S&P. You jump over to the NASDAQ 100. Yeah, not quite the prior day's volume. But as you can see, a couple of decent days of volume in the NASDAQ 100. A little volume coming back into this market, and I imagine we're going to get some volume today, man. Dow, not quite participating to the same degree when you have the tech stocks roaring higher, but the Dow's up by 84 points right now, 44,717. The Russell, though, no pop whatsoever. Russell, negative by 11 or 0.5% at 2230. Now, let's jump over to the PCE headline first before we get into yields, dollar, okay? Because, yeah, it's a hot number, man, and this is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. You always wonder if maybe Powell had a little bit of insight into this number. He should, okay? As in, you're making those decisions. You're going to have a lot of this data. It's a whole month's worth of data. You're getting that data point the day after the Fed. But, yes, you have the core personal consumption expenditure price index rising 0.3% from May and 2.8% on an annualized basis. That's a hot number, folks. Okay? A pickup from June. The data also showed inflation-adjusted consumer spending edging up as well. Yeah. On the one hand, as they put it, progress on inflation has essentially stalled. Are we at 2.8? Is that the new number? It seems like we might be, man. Some of which are already being passed on to consumers on the talk of tariffs, and you're going to have price pressures to the upside. And we get the jobs report tomorrow. Inflation in June was driven by a pickup in prices for goods, household furnishing, sports equipment, and clothes. Wow. You better know that those are coming from overseas, folks. Right? Furniture, one of the biggest ones out there. Clothing. Last month's consumer price index also showed costs of commonly imported goods like toys and appliances rose firmly. All right, so we look forward to the open, and of course tomorrow's Friday jobs data, and you have Amazon and Apple coming out tonight, but the Russell trading lower. Now you jump over to yields, okay? All the surprises seem to be a little bit of lower price, higher yield, right? You got a rip lower yesterday. The chairman starts talking at 2:30, and he sounds pretty hawkish for a Fed that had 2 dissents. You trade lower, you get a little bit of a rise, and then we get that inflation data, and the market says, no, yields are not dropping just yet. We have some pressure when it comes to inflation in this market. And you got a dollar that just hit 100. How about that? Right as I came on the air. You got to love it. All right, now if you've been following the program, folks, we're talking about here, it's about 100 to 180. That's really your range. Okay, you back this up on the dollar, a little bit of longer term look at it. And you can see whether you go back to the lows of January 23, the low is 100.82. The lows a few months later, 100.78, right, within pennies of that same low. You back it up to the end of 2023, 100.61. You get into the lows of 2024, 100.17. And now we're just above 100. So it would make sense you come up to this 100.80 level. That's where we had support. We'll see if that turns into resistance, and that's also where the market rolled over a bit in May, when you had the dollar spike all the way up to 101.97 before driving a straight trip. And amazing, right? May 12th, the week of, 101.97. And by the end of June, you were at 96.37, and now we're back at 100. A little volatility as the market tries to figure out, just like we all do, what's going on with the Fed right now. All right, we take a look at some of the headlines with Microsoft and Meta, and boy, you better believe it, man. Microsoft surges on robust cloud growth and record AI spending. That's going to be a big one. They're going to spend more. Oh, what is going on, Al? You just jammed me up on whatever you just did, sir. Oof. Okay. Al, that's the static I'm talking about. Whatever you're listening to, you just jammed it about 1,000,000 decibels in my ear. That's the, whatever you're turning up, Al. Okay? That's a problem right there. And I can still hear it, Al. I don't know what you just did, pal. Microsoft said it will spend more than $30 billion in the current quarter. All right, we're going to talk about this when we get back, folks. We'll fix whatever I have going on my ears. And we have the S&Ps right now, positive by 57. NASDAQ 100 up by 313. Dow up by 72. It's going to be an interesting open, folks. Microsoft opening above $4 trillion market cap. Meta shares going to open about 10% higher to 773. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. As I mentioned, MetaShares. You're pushing almost $80 higher right now. Quite a move. And then you jump over to Microsoft. So Microsoft, man, you're going to be up by, $40, $43 in the pre-market. This equity has never traded above the high that you made last week of 518. We're going to open it almost 560. We've been talking about the 1-to-1 for Microsoft brings you to 597. After today, I think that's where we're going, folks. Okay, and you look at these numbers that they have for, jump over, for Azure. My goodness. The Azure division posted a 39% rise in sales during the fourth quarter. Analysts were only looking for a 34% increase. Okay. The cloud division grew 34% to more than $75 billion during the year ended June 30th. That's the first time they've disclosed the revenue figure for Azure. Now, they are still way behind Amazon. Okay, Amazon's at like 112 billion or 120 billion, something like that. I'll pull them up. But boy, it is a number, and when you compound that type of growth, that's the reason why you have a company that's valued at almost $4 trillion. You have the CEO, Satya Nadella, saying Copilot, the chatbot that the company markets to individuals, businesses, and coders, has more than 100 million monthly active users. Some 800 million customers interact with the AI features scattered through Microsoft's products. These ones I question, okay, only because monthly active users. Are you using that as just part of being in their ecosystem without really actively using it to a certain degree? It's possible. Microsoft 365 Copilot becoming the new way to organize work. Now that's where the future's going. And it's the same way when you have Google saying its Gemini AI Assistant app had more than 450 million monthly active users. I feel like they're tweaking this data when you're just kind of using the Microsoft and the Google products, and they're kind of telling you that everybody's using their AI products. But are you really? You know, as in, yes, you are. But am I using, I guess they want the app, but am I using the Gemini AI Assistant app? Hey, you get the point. Nonetheless, they are growing exponentially, man. So they abandoned their recent practice of detailing what portion of Azure's growth was attributable to AI demand. Yeah. Figures have become less relevant as use of AI-specific services increasingly spur customers to ramp up the use of other products like data storage or analytics. It's all combined. That's basically what it is. But man, so big numbers across the board. And how about that, right? 34%. They're growing a $75 billion business at 34%. Now, they're going to have to spend a lot on that as well. But yeah, that is quite a number, man, when you put it. All right, jumping around, what else we have going on? Now we jump over to Meta. Have their article, just pulling it up. Oh, come on. Did it error out on me? Yeah, it did. All right, we'll pull up theirs as well. But strong numbers across the board, man. Those Meta numbers. Let me see. I had it up here. Because they blew it apart as well. Zuckerberg's going to have plenty of money. Yeah, here we go. So, it's almost like he's telling everybody to ramp things up so that he can spend that money on AI. As in their numbers, folks, okay? Current quarter sales, 47.5 billion to 50.5. The market was only looking for 46.2. Right? Yeah. Now, they're taking advantage of the lucrative advertising business and stepping up spending next year. Shouldn't be surprising, man. They lift the low end of the forecast for the 2025 CapEx while also providing early steer on 2026. And what do you think they said? Their costs are going to continue to grow at an even faster pace next year. Costs are going to accelerate. Costs are going to accelerate. And yeah, then they talk about, his acquisitions. And I was even talking about this one, man. This money means nothing to a company this large. Meta, you're going to be pushing over $2 trillion because when I was running these valuations, folks, we were talking about that Meta was pushing $2 trillion. And what are we at? Yeah, we're going to be right at about $2 trillion on the open today, okay? And with $2 trillion, folks, spending $100 million is not a lot of money when you're playing with $2 trillion as your market cap, especially if it's well spent. And there's nothing like the quality of your employees. And these employees for AI that are running these large language models, the competition has never been fiercer for that human capital. Reality Labs generated $370 million in revenue with $4.5 billion in operating losses. And they saw actually a decline in sales for the Quest headsets. Yeah, they've never really found a real place, the Quest headset. You talk about numbers, right? Analysts only thought they were going to take in $46.2 billion. Okay? That's current quarter. So what they're going to do is that Reality Labs division that's losing $4.5 billion, okay? Where is it? They're going to make all of that up by exceeding what they're taking in on the revenue of what analysts thought. That's how much money that this company is generating, man. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit more in the program as well. But boy, it's going to be an interesting open as the biggest tech companies out there. We're going to digest some of these gains, and you have Meta shares opening up to the tune of, what are we pushing here? $83 to the upside? My goodness, $773 from a straight shot almost from 88. Going to blow apart this previous high. And Microsoft pushing 558. Yeah, Microsoft's on its way to 600, man. And NVIDIA through the moon to 182. All right, folks, stay tuned. We got the S&Ps right now up by 54, NASDAQ 100 up by 292, Dow slightly in the green. You got the Russell, the only major index in the red, by 13. Bitcoin up by $1,300 right now. You got the dollar right at 100. It's going to be an interesting Thursday, folks. Stay tuned. We're coming right back for the opening bell.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&Ps open up by 47 points, about 0.7% in the positive right now. You got the NASDAQ 100 up by 237, and looks like the market says we might be priced a little bit high. And, folks, we're just trading back into where we were at 6 p.m. last night. The market traded all the way to 23,845. We're backing off a bit. Microsoft, can't blame anybody for taking some profits with that acceleration, man. We're up by 6.8% for Microsoft shares. And Meta, slight sell-off, up by 10.5%. Quite a number. You jump over to Amazon shares. They give back some of those gains, but up by 2% right now. And NVIDIA, up by 1.8%. Yeah, some of the other leaders. Oracle in the cloud game, up by 1.7%. Oracle's only got like a $10 billion cloud business, man. You talk about an opportunity to run. Oracle up by 1.8% right now. You jump over to the chip stocks. AMD up by 1% right now. Intel shares not participating, down by 1.3%. All right. We jump over to CVS. So this thing has been in the doldrums. You're up from the lows of last year, but you look at this chart, right? From 111 down to 43 bucks. You go big picture. You were at 113 in 2015. You make a nice double top 7 years later, and then you rip lower to the lows that we're at this year. As yeah, they got a beat this morning. So shares pop on an earnings beat and outlook as retail pharmacy and insurance units improve. CVS Health reported second quarter earnings and revenue topped estimates. The company now expects earnings on their outlook of $6.30 to $6.40 a share, up from a previous guidance of $6 to $6.20. And yeah, you're going to catch a lift on that. They come in at $1.81 versus $1.46. And how about revenue of almost $100 billion? That's a huge revenue beat, man. Was that $4.42 billion of a revenue beat? Whew. Net income of just over $1 billion. Man, you can see when you talk about margins, though, man, right? You miss the margin by 1%, you miss everything. They take in almost $99 billion, and they have they have net income of $1 billion. Pressure on insurance. Insurance units medical benefit ratio, a measure of the total medical expenses paid relative to premiums, increased to 89.9% from 89.6%. They have a $471 million charge in there from a premium deficiency reserve. So they had to jack up their premium deficiency reserves. And what is that? Is that rising costs? So they're jacking up their related to anticipated losses when it comes to premium deficiency reserves as they jack that number up $471 million. Whew, that's a big number when you're only taking $1 billion to the bottom line. The insurance business alone, $36.26 billion in revenue, up 11% on the year. Pharmacy and Consumer Wellness Division, 33.58. That insurance business, man. So nonetheless, you got CVS shares up by 4.4%. But look at the give back. They got the conference call going on. You're up by 4.6% right now for CVS. We check in on UNH. Yeah, look at this thing. Cannot find a bid, man. Be careful of this equity, folks. This equity is not acting like we got a floor yet. I mean, look at, we're about to break the lows of 248.88. We're at 259 right now. You hit a low today of 258. And there's your daily as we come in, test those lows. Now, it's going to be hard to take those lows out with some volume. But UNH, continued pressure to the downside. All right. Talk CVS. Let's talk a little bit of Ford. So Ford out with their numbers. Pull it over. And yeah, they reinstate their full year outlook. A little bit more clarity. And how about a $2 billion tariff hit? And that's where, these, when Chairman Powell said yesterday, the impact of tariffs on consumers is not going to be zero, right? I think a lot of the president's supporters act like the impact is going to be like zero, right? Like it's just going to be greatness in action. Take the politics out of it. It can't be greatness in action. When you have this type of a hit, as the chairman said, okay, companies will raise prices when and if they can, period. The pressure is going to be on, and that's what has him worried. You heard it yesterday, and you heard the market reacting. Ford's going to face a $2 billion hit from tariffs this year, period. End of sentence. The company's adjusted earnings include an $800 million in adverse tariff-related impacts. You think there's pressure to try and raise the prices at Ford with that type of an impact? I bet there is. Its new estimates reflect a total $3 billion hit from the tariffs, but the company still estimates can offset $1 billion of that number. Man. The new guidance includes adjusted earnings before interest and taxes of $6.5 to $7.5 billion, which is lower than the number that they put it at in February of 7 to 8.5. They got decent cash flow. Yeah, you better. 3.5 to 4.5 billion. They make 80% of the vehicles in the U.S., but we still import parts from all over the world, and that's the opportunity to work with the administration. Well, yeah, they might put them together here, right? But where are those parts coming from? So they come in with 37 cents versus 33, and they beat on revenue with almost 47 billion versus 43.21. A big beat. All right, we got the market selling off. They're taking profits right now. Can't blame them. Microsoft up by 5.5 right now. Meta. Oh, not on Meta, though. Meta's its own beast right now, man. Look at this. Meta catches a bid. Up by 12.2%. And you're up $85 from the close last night. $85. And as I mentioned, folks, Meta was trading at $85 almost in October of 2022. And meanwhile, you add in market cap overnight. Look, there it is. We're up $88. Simple math. You add in market cap overnight the entire worth of the company just over 2 years ago. Zuckerberg's firing on all cylinders, man. And could you imagine if this was an A to B, C to D? And don't think it can't be, folks. You're only talking about a company right now that's valued at $2 trillion. And I say that as in, we got many companies at 2.5, 3. Now we got multiple companies at $4 trillion. Okay? This would be wild if we're setting up an A to B where your A is $88 and your B is $740. And it might be, we're breaking that B point with volume. We'll come right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We have Meta up here. Meta, it's not stopping. We got a little sell-off in the markets from the highs. We get the S&P now up by 36 points. And you take a look at Meta, okay? Let's back it out. And yeah, if this is an A to B, C to D, man, you better watch out. And you're talking about coming off the lows. Yeah, up into this higher region. You make a pullback to the lows of April. And that would bring you to 1139. Yeah, you're only talking about a $3 trillion company at that point, right? What are we talking about? Another $340 upside. You're up 90 today. Man, that would be remarkable. And that is, folks, yeah, so 1140. And that would be the run that you got. And boy, that's how you break a B point, folks. There it is. Yeah, 1140, 1145, A to B, nice straight leg. And then look at the way you come across that B point, right? You do 298 million shares in February. We're not going to have volume, surprisingly. Look at this, though. All right. Let's do a weekly. Hold on. Yeah, because you know what it is, and this is amazing. Look at the last. Jeez. I mean, you can back it up to the earnings last July. 1. No reaction in October. You get a nice pop here in March. This week we got about 60 million shares already, and it's going to be a big day today. We got 67 million shares. It'd be nice to break above that volume bar. And 67 and 67. All right, you want to see about 68 million shares on the weekly. So that means we need about 8 million more shares today. And we'll probably do it. We've already done 11 million shares already. We need 8 million shares for the entire day. So Meta, they're going to have some volume on a weekly basis. And yeah, jumping over some of those numbers again, folks. Okay. How about revenue rising 22%? That's total revenue. This isn't a breakdown of their cloud. That is total revenue. Profit up 36%. We talked about the revenue numbers. They're looking for as much as $50.5 billion. But how about they're still growing their user base? 6.4% from a year earlier. 3.48 billion people now use Meta-owned apps daily. Daily. 3.5 billion people. 1 out of every 2 person opens a Meta app daily. I mean, how many people across the globe open apps daily would be my question. It's not everybody, folks. So that's the 5th consecutive quarter that Reality Labs has losses in excess of $4 billion, but he does not care when they're just beaten everywhere else. And yeah, you better believe AI is coming for jobs, man. It's coming for productivity and jobs. All of it. Let's check in on Amazon shares right now. Oof. All right. Amazon gives it all back. Look at that. All right. Well, expectations not as high as they were this morning coming into the open, but Amazon shares right now up by 0.6%, and they'll have their numbers tonight. Apple shares actually roll negative by 0.1%. All right, you jump over to Moderna. So they're cutting 10% of their workforce. Some of these pandemic darlings, man. Oof. As biotech cuts costs, and yeah, they're in quite a little turnaround mission right now. They're going to slash roughly 10% of the global workforce. Said the company expects to have fewer than 5,000 workers by the end of the year. It's going to reduce annual operating expenses by $1.5 billion by 2027. They're going to bring down expenses yearly, $1.5 billion. Now, they had 5,800 full-time employees at the end of last year, and they're going to be down to 5,000 by the end of the year. Oh, boy, you're talking about trying to bring it down. Yeah, they're trying to reduce those annual expenses, $1.5 billion, man. And it's like the market's not buying that either, man. They're worried. You're trimming. You can't do that. They're supposed to be the ultimate growth company, right? You're an uber growth company in the biotech era. You can't cut your way to future riches on this one. That's one where you should probably be spending to a certain degree. Now, I'm generalizing. Got a market cap about $12 billion right now. Let's take a look at the volume on this equity. All right, we got some nice volume at the highs here of 35.59 the week of July. No, that's the daily, July 23rd. Hey, you got above the recent highs. You did it. You closed higher. We've traded back with lighter volume. Get this gap out here from March that we just closed. Let's put this on a weekly. All right, May 19th, you get some decent volume. You also get some decent volume July 7th, and we've just been sputtering across. But Moderna, that's a tough chart, folks. May 19th, the week of, maybe that's your sign of strength on the bottom, the low of 25.10 there. But look at that bar. It's always dicey when you trade higher and then give it up with volume. Well, that's a nice sign of strength July 7th. That's a tough one when you're trying to cut in that area. I mean, they should be spending money to grow their technology if that's going to change the world. And that's not what they're doing right now. They're shrinking their workforce. They're cutting everything. All right, we'll check back in on yields right now. All right, just chopping around in basically yesterday's action. We got the 10-year right now. $4.35, the yield on the 10-year. We'll update that one. And dollar strength. Whew, it's not stopping, man. Dollar, 100.05. Gold's handling that well today. As the dollar strengthens, gold's soaring higher from those lows last night, up by $2. One more segment. Don't go away, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's catching a little bid. Off of that, we just popped almost 20 points right now. You're trading up by 50. NASDAQ 100 accelerates higher yet again. We're up by 200. Dow up by 113. And how about the Russell? Getting some of the action. You get a little bit of a lift on the open there. The Russell just popped by, 17 points from where we were on the open. The Russell almost flirting with green. Bitcoin up by almost $2,000, $119,475. Microsoft, no bid just yet. from that sell. You just dropped $20. Still up by 5%. Quite a move from Microsoft. But Meta, clearly the big winner of the day, up by 12.1% right now. NVIDIA shares up by 1.4%. A little bit of a give back there as well. And then, yeah, you get Amazon after the bell, up 1.5% on some hot cloud numbers for Azure. And then you get Apple shares. But Apple not really participating right now. Down by 0.1% right now. All right, and it's interesting on the day you get earnings. We're wrapping up the program. But you get the UK, they're trying to clamp down. Can't they see what these companies are doing? I say it tongue-in-cheek, of course. Microsoft and Amazon are hurting cloud competition. UK regulator finds. The tough part about this one, folks, is that, yeah, I'm sure they're hurting. That's what they do, right? Any business is going to try and use their unilateral market power to make the most of money they can in the least amount of time. Do it all, right? But you do have some competitors in this market now. Okay, you got Amazon, right? You got Microsoft, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, among some others. So you're going to have enough players in there where I think they're going to get away with it. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure. But yes, certain cloud market practices are creating a lock-in effect where businesses are trapped in unfavorable well, careful of those contracts you're making, right? All right, folks, thanks so much. That was a quick hour, man. We got a lot going on. Stay tuned. We got Basil Chapman. He's in the Tiger's Den getting ready right now for the Tiger Technicians Hour. He's coming up next, folks. Live programming all day. We'll see you after that.